Hello, CC and Middleburg Tutors. This is your tutorial for week 18, Fine Arts. This is our last week of Great Artists before we head into our last 6 weeks of CC with our orchestra and composers. So this is going to be a fun one. We are studying El Greco. This is going to be on page 26 of your Great Artists book. The fun thing about El Greco is that he was known for tall, solemn figures that appear to be stretched out. So this is kind of a fun little project to do, to take a normal picture and to cut it in order to stretch it and then trace over it in order to make the picture look really elongated. So we're pretty much going exactly like the guidebook says on here, not varying away at all. The only thing that's different, if you happen to look at the materials, is that I think we're going to use tape instead of where it says to use glue sticks, because that seemed to work just fine and it's less messy. Alright, so we are drawing tall figures. You guys are going to need a picture, some copy paper, which we've got, tracing paper, scissors, tape, and pencils. So from your tutor bins for this week, you need to make sure you have scissors for each of the kids, and some scotch tape or glue sticks if you choose to do that, but I think the tape is going to be a little bit easier to use. You're also going to need to make sure that each of the kids has pencils. Everything else I'll be giving to you guys. So here's how this one works. I started out with just a regular picture. This is a picture of the Virgin Mary that was done by El Greco. And again, you can tell it's a very solemn face. Then what we did is I cut this picture out here first and then cut horizontal strips all throughout the whole picture in order to separate it as evenly as I could. So for our abecedarians, we probably are going to need some helpers to get them to be able to cut these out in straighter lines, because that might make it hard if they're not to finish this up. But they'll do it. It'll be fine. So we start with a picture and we cut it into strips. So this is the starting point. This is what it looks like after I cut it into strips and separated it out. So the original picture was all cut horizontally into strips, and then I laid it onto a piece of copy paper and spread them out so that they each have a gap in between them. And then I just went along and taped along the edges. So it took me about 3 pieces of tape on each side to make sure that I had this on here straight. Again, this is where you could use glue sticks if you want to. I just think that's probably going to take more time. So the tape was really quick and easy to do. So now that I have this picture, the idea is that we're going to take tracing paper and cover this up and use our pencil to trace around the new image that we see in order to get a picture that is elongated and stretched out. So the kids will have to be kind of filling in those gaps on their own, but they can just continue the line where it's going, and it's pretty easy to do. So that's what I did with this one. I got my tracing paper and laid it over the top of it, took my pencil and just traced along the edges of everything that I could see on here pretty clearly, and just made sure that where there were gaps, I just kept the line going where it was, and it connected really well with where the next little strip was. So when I was done, I had a picture on tracing paper like this. So my original was here, and now I have on my tracing paper a very elongated version of the same picture. So it's kind of cool. I think this will be a fun one. So what I'm hoping to do, if we can get this accomplished, is we would like to use pictures of the kids themselves. So most likely during week 17, I will be coming around and taking a picture of each of the kids somewhere out in the hallway with a very solemn face, and coming home, putting those into the computer and converting them into a sketch drawing so that they will have a picture of themselves to actually cut out and elongate, and that will definitely make it much more fun to see themselves go from normal to stretched out. So that's the goal, if we can accomplish that. If not, then we'll probably be working with this picture, but I think we can make that happen. So again, just read through the background of El Greco with them, give them some history on who he is and his life, and then have fun with this picture. It should be a lot of fun. And that's all I've got for you guys. Thanks so much.